Yo, what's going on, y'all? So, I never thought in my wildest imaginations I'd actually get a chance to record this kind of video. But 2017 has been a really significant year in not just gaming, but for fan support, for being vocal about your franchises that you love. This year in particular, I don't think any one franchise benefited more than the Yakuza series. This year is significant because 2017 marked the release of not just Yakuza 0 in the beginning of the year, but in the summer, we also got Yakuza Kiwami. Now, for most people who don't really, follow the franchise, they're probably looking at this as, oh, okay, so they released two games in the series in the same year. They must be milking it. Big whoop. But if you are a fan of Yakuza, whether you jumped on board with the PlayStation 3 games, whether you've been there since the very beginning on the PS2, you would know how significant it is that we got both of these games right here in the same year, because looking back on it, the Yakuza series, its whole existence has, for one, been up in the air, similar to the Fire Emblem series, and just the localization problems that have existed with this franchise. I'm just so shocked and surprised that the games are still coming out now in the best ways that they've ever have, because the Yakuza series is very Japanese. Very Japanese in its tone, very Japanese in how it handles many things. So appealing to a Western audience, Yakuza is always going to be a hard sell, because just look at one of the things that casual folks say about the franchise. Oh, it's Japan's version of GTA. It's really not. If anyone ever tells you that Yakuza is Japanese Grand Theft Auto, please stray away from that person, because they really don't know what they're talking about. This game is nothing like GTA. If anything, this is sort of a quasi-spiritual successor to aspects that existed in the Shenmue series. But the Yakuza series, since it is so Japanese, a lot of the games in the series have had weird localization issues. Like the first game, for example, and if you're Yakuza 3 on PS3, due to time, budget, and just localization differences, like what people have, their certain tastes and their appeal, it caused some of the games to be censored here in the West. But what I love about it is that since then, the series have just remained unaltered, unchanged. They've included all the things that worked in the Japanese version, the things that people wouldn't understand about the Japanese version. It still exists in these games. And that's what I love, that this series is so driven by its fan base. This is not a series that really, okay, we're going to release it to the masses and everyone's going to eat it up. No, this series, the only reason it exists to this day and why we got all these games is because people went out there, they were vocal about it, they voted with their wallets instead of just talking big stuff online. Because when you're looking back on the PS3 games, we had Yakuza 3 come out in, I believe, 2010, right? Then we had Yakuza 4 in 2011, and then we had Yakuza Dead Souls in 2012. Yakuza Dead Souls was the last major Yakuza game we had over here for a while. We went years without confirmation of a Yakuza localization. Japan was still getting the titles. They still had Yakuza 5, Yakuza 6 on the horizon. They had the various spin-off games. So for us, it looked like Dead Souls was the last game in the series, which would be very unfortunate considering it's not a real Yakuza game. It's this... You remember how everyone was trying to get big on the zombie trend and the zombie hype? That was Yakuza's answer, and it really shouldn't have happened. But something changed in 2014 at PlayStation Experience. When they debuted that event, PlayStation was really vocal about this thing called Building the List, where they were talking about games that they wanted to put on the platform, be it on the PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4. Localizations were a huge factor, and the Yakuza series topped the list. So Sega announced that they were bringing over, in collaboration with PlayStation, Yakuza 5. And to say that I was freaking ecstatic it was an understatement, because that was the PlayStation Experience where they showed off Uncharted 4 gameplay, and I could care less, because as I live and breathe, Yakuza 5 was coming over, a game that I thought we'd never see the light of day over here. And it took a while for it to come over. It took exactly an entire year. We literally didn't get any news until the following PlayStation Experience, but it dropped that month. and it was just like, this is the push that it needs. You know, it kind of sucks that it was released on an old console in 2015, but we got the localization. That's what we needed. And then from there in 2015, we also got word that Yakuza 0 was coming over to the States. Yakuza 0, man, a prequel, you know. Like, who's going to bring over a prequel in a game series that's not really selling well? What? And then in 2016, we got a confirmation of not only Yakuza Kiwami coming over, which is a remake of the first game, but Yakuza 6, man. Like, 2 games coming out within, like, what, not even a year of each other? So in January, we had Yakuza 0. In August, we had Yakuza Kiwami. And then in March, we have Yakuza 6. Like, the Yakuza love is so strong right now. I've never seen it ever been this, like so many people. When I was at PlayStation Experience, I know I sound like I'm getting really emotional right now, but it's serious. When I was at PlayStation Experience and the big old Yakuza booth, there were so many people out there who I knew have never played a Yakuza game. They never touched it, but they tried it out and they were just like in shock and awe at what they've been missing all these years. It's prompted them to go out there and pick up the older games in the series. And that right there, as a big fan of Yakuza, is something I love. I love when like these games are given such love and care and attention. I mean, the Steelbook Special Edition, granted mine is damaged, but do you guys want to know how much of a like Yakuza stan I am? They have like 50 of these at my local Best Buy, and since this game is only $30 and with my discount I can get it for like $20, I'm so tempted to go out there and rebuy this game just because this Steelbook right here. You know, like, call me a fanatic all you want, but it's a series that I will always, it'll be my ride and die series, provided they don't come out with the other Dead Souls game. But I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited for Yakuza 6. I'm so excited for the future of the franchise. And let's talk about the future for the franchise for a bit, because we got some news. It looks like the series isn't stopping anytime soon. We just got a new game, Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a remake of the second game, which is a sequel of this. So I love that they're bringing out the older Yakuza games for a new generation of fans. They're going back and they're touching things up, they're changing things, and they're releasing it at budget prices, which is just like the best way you can attract a new audience. Because it's one thing to say, hey, pick up Yakuza 0, it's a great prequel. Oh, $60 for a game I might not know, blah, blah. But Yakuza Kiwami, $30? That's just beautiful right there. Great idea. We got the sequel in Japan in December, and you know, PlayStation Experience would have hinted at us like, hey, there's only one game left that they haven't announced, so when is it coming out? But they didn't announce a localization for Yakuza 0. They actually, Yakuza Kiwami 2, they actually said that the reason why they didn't announce Yakuza Kiwami 2's localization is because they wanted to focus all their efforts on Yakuza 6, because they kind of got into the habit of having to promote 3 different Yakuza games at the same time, because they announced 2 games at one PSX before they were even out, and then they had to hype up Yakuza 0, and then hype up Kiwami, and then hype up 6, and then why would you announce a sequel to Kiwami? And you know what I'm saying? So in their eyes, I understand that they want to focus on it. But the sheer fact that they know that we want these games like Kiwami 2, and they also name dropped Ishin, which is a spin-off title that takes place way back when in Japan, it means that they know we want these games. They know we're looking forward to these games, and we will pay for them when they come stateside. And can we also talk about the fact that we went from like a digital version of Yakuza 5 to straight up physical and special editions? Again, it sounds redundant at this point, but it's so awesome, man. I love it. So going forward, man, I'm excited for Yakuza Kiwami 2. Hella excited for Yakuza 6, even though I heard kind of conflicting things. It's probably one of the weakest games in the series, but fuck it, man. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to support it. We have actually a Yakuza. It's not really a spin-off, but it's a game made by the Yakuza guys. Fist of the North Star. That's getting the Yakuza treatment, so I cannot wait for that. I think that's going to be a load of fun whenever that drops. Hopefully we get the localization for that. And yeah, man, it's just a great time to be a Yakuza fan. I just can't believe we're in the situation that we are today. Like, don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do anything. They don't care about you. They're not listening, because Sega has been listening. They've been listening for the past few years with this franchise. And the speedier localizations that we get is just a sign. And if we ever end up in a situation where we get a day-and-date localization for a Yakuza game, nigga, we made it. That's where things are. Like, we've truly crossed over into greener pastures. You know, this is what we've been waiting for. But yeah, I'm done rambling about the Yakuza series. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do yourself a favor and pick up both of these games, because while this is a prequel and yes, you can start with this game, this series it's like, I just pick up both, please. Like, I don't care which one you play first, but you're gonna get the full experience when you play this, and then Kiwami 2. And then if you want to work yourself backwards into the PS3 titles, or maybe they'll release an HD collection. Maybe 3-4 HD. Yakuza 5 as well. Who knows? For me, for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.